something crosses the road. It's skeletal like, fleshy, and it stands up, and then it like kind of just almost like leaps.
They look back and they see one. Clear as day. It walked 5 feet away from my audio recorder. We just saw a Bigfoot. Holy crap.
I've been pinched, I've been tapped on the shoulder, I've had my name hollered, a hand came up underneath my left arm. I said, little son of a bitch tried to get me. That was the time that I decided you don't sleep inside that building.
Did you see that?
The cowker, it's big, it's white, and it runs faster than any man could ever run. And it would lean out behind the tree. And that's why we never go out, because the booger will get you.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Exploring the Unknown. I'm Dustin.
I'm Luke.
And we are the hosts with the ghosts. I don't know how I feel about that anymore, in all honesty. I feel like it's fading, and I'm just like, I'm okay with it fading. Anyways. Today we have on the show a special guest, Harry Green, who is a paranormal investigator? That didn't sound right when I said it the first time. Like, when I said it, my mind went, he's not an alligator, Dustin. He's not an alligator.
I thought it sounded fine.
I think it's because maybe my mind was thinking about the Hockamock Swamp still. But Harry is a seasoned paranormal investigator over in the Bridgewater Triangle, the mysterious Bridgewater Triangle. Now, the Bridgewater Triangle, for those of you who don't know, is a 200 square mile, reportedly, vortex. It's what they say it's a paranormal vortex. Harry talks about his theories behind what he believes is causing the activity over there in the Bridgewater Triangle. The different hotspots that he has been to, including the the Taunton State, the Taunton State Hospital?
Yes.
Yeah, and Dighton Rock.
And a bridge.
And a bridge?
Yep. There's a bridge made out of glacier stone.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, let's not wait any longer.
Give him two. Yeah. Yeah, you want to hop into this episode?
Let's go. Harry.
What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Good.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 42 years old. I grew up here in Brockton, Mass. I used to patrol with the Alliance of the Guardian Angels, the ones to deter crime. We used to do all the winter blanket drives for the homeless. And in 2020, we were bored and sitting around, and we decided, you know what, let's get some paranormal investigation equipment, start, creating a YouTube channel and go up there ghost hunting, based on an experience I had when I was a kid. So that's pretty much it.
What happened when you were a kid, if you got mind out?
When I was 14 years old, and this was back in 1996, me and a childhood friend of mine, Troy, we used to ride our bikes down, throughout the old neighborhood here in Brockton, which, by the way, is right inside the Bridgewater Triangle. And one particular place where we used to love to ride our bikes was down the old quad trails behind Brockton High School. And one day we were riding our bikes down there, and we got off our bikes for some particular reason. I'm not really sure why. And we started talking, and all of a sudden my friend Troy looks up in the sky and he goes, "Oh, shoot." Except he didn't say shoot. I'll keep it PG. He ran off into the bushes, and I'm thinking, why is he hiding? What is it that he sees? So I turn around, and as I turned, the wind started picking up like crazy, that the tree brushes were blowing like crazy. It sounded like a car driving on all 4 flat tires.
Oh.
And as I made a complete turn, there was this huge bird in the sky. Each wingspan was probably larger than a 78 Lincoln Town Car. And picture like a raised ranch house. This bird was wider.
Oh, wow.
And it was flying towards me, probably, 3 stories up. And he looked very old looking. He had like knotted up brown fur. There was twigs and cobwebs caught in his fur. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope this bird doesn't mistake me for a worm and scoop me up and carry me on his way. But it continued to fly south, going towards the Hockamock Swamp. Now, the Hockamock Swamp means place where spirits dwell. It was a Wampanoag sacred burial ground out here. And I never even heard of the Hockamock Swamp or the Bridgewater Triangle at that time, being, 14 years old. So my friend, he came out of hiding and he goes, Harry, did you see the size of that bird? And picture like a cattail in the marsh. When you open it up, all the stuffing comes out. This bird left feathers everywhere. And we went home and I told my mother. She thought because, I was 14 years old that, any bird in the sky is going to look humongous. But, I mean, this bird was massive. So we actually forgot about it. He ended up moving. I ended up moving. Several years later, this was in 2007, me and a couple buddies, we snuck into the old tuberculosis hospital in Hanson, Massachusetts. It was haunted. And at that time, I was kind of, skeptical of the paranormal. So we were walking around endlessly outside. And I was saying, you know what, this is boring. Let's just get out of here. And my friend said, no, something's telling me walk around the place one more time. So I'm like, okay. So we walked around, and as we came up to the entrance, there was this white, misty figure of a person floating. It actually looked like he was hunched down on a walker, and it was floating towards the main entrance. So, we ran. We got back to the car only to debrief about what happened. And probably about a year later, I was telling a friend of mine, Portia, about this, ghostly experience. And she goes, well, Harry, it's because you live in the Bridgewater Triangle. And I said, what the hell is that? And she goes, Harry, I lived out here for a year, and you lived in the state all your life. You never heard of the Bridgewater Triangle? And I said, no. And she said, it's a triangular region where the natives supposedly cursed the land after they lost to King Philip's War. And I'm thinking, well, seeing ghosts has nothing to do with a Native American curse. And she goes, well, Harry, people have experienced strange things out here, such as Bigfoots. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, sure, Portia. And she goes, no, Harry, it's true. People have seen UFOs. And I'm laughing now at this story. And she goes, Harry, it's true. People have seen large thunderbirds in the sky right here in Brockton. The second she said that, I said, wait a minute, what did you just say? Did you just say a thunderbird? And she said, yeah, large birds. Now I'm remembering the incident that happened when I was a kid. So I said, oh my God, I've seen this bird. And she goes, I told you, Harry. So she started to research it on her desktop, and I went home and actually researched the Bridgewater Triangle, and that was 2009. So ever since then, I actually had an interest in this region. I just wasn't boots to the ground until 2020.
Yeah. So you've experienced quite a bit, and you've had people with you that was able to back up what you had seen. That's incredible.
Well, my friend Troy, I actually hit him up a couple years ago, and I asked him about the incident. I said, do you remember this Thunderbird? And he said, yeah, I barely remember it. And I started talking about it on Facebook Messenger, and every message was being seen. He wasn't responding back. It wasn't until the YouTube channel started to grow, I actually messaged him a couple months ago about this, and he just said to me, yeah, I don't remember, Harry, but I believe you. It's like he wants nothing to do with it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've heard of people that aren't able to really cope with it, so they just kind of ignore it, so that it just doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts moving forward in 2000? You said 2010.
In 2010, we actually joined up with a paranormal team, actually, that was going to do investigations out here in the Triangle. We were going to send footage over to Bridgewater State College because they were going to be doing a segment on the Bridgewater Triangle. Unfortunately, the group I was with disbanded, and the project at the college never fell through.
Now, do you mainly focus on just ghosts and hauntings, or do you go looking for like Bigfoot and things like that as well?
We have looked for the Bigfoot. You know, to me, it's kind of pointless. If he wants to show himself, he's going to show himself. You just have to be in the right place, right time. Our main focus is, you know, the supernatural, like ghosts, entities.
Yeah. What's your most favorite place within the Triangle that you've been to?
Probably it would have to be Anawan Rock. It was actually, we didn't see anything, but this is an eerie story. We were at Anawan Rock, and I don't know if you guys know about Anawan Rock.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
If I hear the story, I think I might.
It's in 1676, it's where Chief Anawan was captured by Benjamin Church, mocking the end to King Philip's War. He was captured at the rock, so they named, you know, the rock Anawan Rock after him. But people say that they see strange phantom fires over there. They smelled, you know, like a musky smell. People usually smell right before a Bigfoot sighting. They've seen Native Americans dancing around in the swamp out there. So one night we were doing an investigation, and it was me, Paul, and this girl, Rochelle. And we left Rochelle on the bench with a digital recorder. And I said, you know, try talking to whoever's out here. Maybe they feel more comfortable talking to a female. So me and Paul walked away. We were walking around the rock. When we got back to Rochelle, I said to Rochelle, anything strange happen? And she said, no. And she was acting very strange for the rest of the night. It's almost like she was out of it. And we started to, you know, hear footsteps loud, like thumps. We were also smelling this musky smell. Now, when I went home, I actually was reviewing the footage on the digital recorder that I left next to her. And you hear a voice, a woman's voice saying, chose me. And then you hear Rochelle saying, hi, honey. So she acknowledged something was there. But when I asked her, she said nothing out of the ordinary happened, and she was acting very strange. And the weird thing about this is she disappeared after. We can't find her.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess. Now, from Massachusetts, their name for the Pukwudgies. Are you familiar with that?
Yes. No one really out here has seen a Pukwudgie. They say that they roam Freetown State Forest because the forest was, you know, Wampanoag native territory. No one's actually seen a Pukwudgie in the state forest. The only sighting actually was in the town of Rainham with Bill Russo. And I actually know Bill Russo personally. I've interviewed him before, and he never actually refers to it as a Pukwudgie. He always says the creature, because in reality, we don't know if it's a Pukwudgie, because a Pukwudgie is, you know, in native terms, a 3-foot troll that carries poisonous spears that's known to be a shapeshifter. But again, there's really no evidence to back that up.
That's interesting. I was watching, I just said the show earlier to him, Beyond Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes.
And they were there investigating the Bridgewater Triangle as well.
Yeah. I've seen that episode. I've talked to him about the episode. No comment really on it. Let's just say. I'll tell you guys backstage.
Yes, TV. So they show stuff that we all know how TV works.
Yeah. Now, have you ever? I'm not sure if you said there was a moment your audio was kind of cutting out for me, but had you said that you seen any UFOs yourself, like in person?
I've never seen one. No.
No. Yeah, that's.
Of course, I want to, but I've never seen one.
Right. Yeah, I look at my feet too much to be able to have the opportunity.
Well, we were at work the other day looking up at the sky when we were on break, so.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of UFO sightings out here, actually, just right above Route 24.
Yeah.
Which is a major highway that runs right through the Bridgewater Triangle. I do know, though, that there has been people that have driven on Route 24 and they claim that they've experienced missing time. And this is right in the same area as these UFO sightings.
Oh, wow.
And for the longest time, you know, when we thought of UFOs, we thought of, you know, aliens from another planet. The new theory is that they could actually be us from the future, and that these UFOs could be, you know, time machines, some kind of time vessels, either producing a wormhole pocket or finding a wormhole pocket in key areas of the Earth. But it seems that these wormhole pockets are left lingering behind, right, you know, at these UFO sightings, the same areas where people experience these, you know, missing time.
Yeah.
That's an interesting theory to think about, us from the future.
Yeah. I've heard something like that before. Do you have any theories on like what makes the Bridgewater Triangle so active?
I believe that, see, a lot of the stuff happened in the 1970s. It seems that a lot of these hauntings are kind of fading away. And in the 1970s, there was a hype of UFO sightings out here in the Bridgewater Triangle. I actually think that these UFOs might have opened up some kind of vortex releasing all these anomalies. Also, too, all throughout the Bridgewater Triangle, there's high T's. There's high T's that run right through the Hockamock Swamp, and we all know that they emit EMFs, which entities channel off of. So I think that plays a major role in the Bridgewater Triangle, these high T's.
Yeah. What's the high T? I'm not familiar with that.
The high transmission lines.
Okay. Have you ever been to the Hockamock Swamp yourself?
Oh, many times. Many times.
Have you ever had anything happen there?
Quite a few instances. My first time we heard Native American drums beating as we were leaving. There is a spot in the Hockamock called the Skim Milk Bridge, and it was named after having the river having a, you know, clay coloring at one time. But it's a stone structure bridge, and no one really knows how the natives actually built this bridge. But you know, because it's glacier stones, it's made out of glacier stones. But what's interesting is, in 1919, there was a Brockton resident named Evelyn Packard, and she took her kayak down the town river into the Hockamock Swamp, and she went missing. And she never returned. They actually sent out a search party to look for her. And there was a reporter that was covering the story on Evelyn Packard. And he sat down on the stone to have a cigarette break. And when he stood up, he noticed a strange poem that was actually engraved into the stone. And it says something like, "All ye who in future days walk by none contested stream, love not him who hummed his lay, cheerful should the parting beam that he wooed in this quiet solitude." And I think it took him like 80 years later to figure out that this poem was linked to Reverend Timothy Otis Payne, who had ties with Freemasonry. So they think the poem has something to do with that. But going back now, after he, discovered what is now known as Solitude Stone, the search party continued, and I think it was 4 days later, they found Evelyn Packard's body floating under the Skimmill Bridge, and no one knows what happened to her. So that's actually a very popular spot to investigate. When we were out there, I know that we could hear whispers coming from the swamp. It sounds like a female whispering. When we were walking down the trail, I could have sworn I seen something up ahead. And when I went back to review the footage, you see this white, misty shape just float real fast by the camera. A year later, we were over there, and we could hear, a woman whispering. And one of the investigators, the sister Jody, all of a sudden felt really hot. Like she wanted to actually take off her clothes. She felt really hot. She was sick. We had to get her out of there, and she wasn't really the same. Like we were talking, and we were saying, Jody, and she goes, huh? What? It's like she was out of it. As soon as she left the area, she felt 100 times better. So when me and the investigator went back to that area, we had a spirit box, and we were saying, Evelyn Packard, did anything happen to you when you were out here? And a voice came through that said rape. And, we was trying to make communication with her, and you can hear over the spirit box a woman that sounded like she was distressed, sounded like she was in distress. You could hear her saying, I said, stop it, please stop it, please stop, please stop, please stop, over, just like that.
And you have that on recording?
Oh, wow.
Wow. Would you mind sharing that with us? We could share with our audience?
Yep, it is on my channel.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, and we'll put your link to your channel down in the description below. That way people can find that too a little easy.
Yep. The name of the video is the Hockamock Part 6, the Skim Milk Bridge.
I'll have to look at that up after we get off here with you.
Yeah, absolutely. What's out of all the investigations that you've done, excuse me, what's the most compelling evidence that you've gotten?
Probably the EVPs, because, even when I go back and look at evidence, sometimes I become very skeptical even of my own evidence, because we've never actually caught on film a full-blown apparition. And, thinking back with all the stuff that we captured, there's always what ifs. In any investigation, there's always what ifs. Well, what if it's X, Y, and Z? So sometimes I become very skeptical, but I always think back to myself, well, what about these EVPs? You can't explain that. So there obviously has to be something out there.
Right.
So I think that's my most compelling evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to agree with you on that one. It's hard to faking. I mean, it's easy to fake an EVP, but if it's just you and somebody and you got something on audio, it's like, oh my God, like how is that possible?
Right. Now, what do you?
Yeah, because we've captured some.
Nope. Go ahead.
But I was just saying, because we captured some weird stuff before, but maybe it can be explained. I don't know. I know that when we were at like a haunted mill, for instance, in Rhode Island, we were looking through the window, and it actually appears that it's a woman in a white dress and a white bonnet looking over at the camera like this, and she looks back. But at the same time, though, when she was moving her head, I was moving the camera. The light from the camera could have been bouncing off the machines. Again, there's always what ifs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's that the EVPs, though, you can't explain. It's something that's, below 0 dB that's, in with these ambient sounds.
Do you think that these are spirits of like past beings, or do you think like what's your theory on that?
I definitely think it's past beings where their energy is stuck in that area, that particular area.
Yeah. You ever been to Salem, where the witch trials and things like that have been?
Yeah, we have been to Salem. Actually, a funny story, we were just up there trying to do an investigation, but, from the spring all the way to winter, Salem is packed with tourists, and we couldn't really get an investigation done anywhere because a lot of people recognized us from the YouTube channel. They were stopping, asking us questions. And then, there was tours after tours coming into the areas we were trying to investigate. And Salem is very strict. So a lot of these public areas, you have to be out of there at nighttime.
Yeah.
That's the bummer.
I talked to a lot of people in Salem, and everyone seems to say the same thing, that there may have been witchcraft, but there wasn't witchcraft involved back in 1692. It was all more so about greed, land disputes. You point the finger at a certain woman saying, she's a witch, she gets executed, you get to take over her land.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's wild. So a lot of people were getting wrongly accused just because people wanted land. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. And if you think about this too, the very first woman that was accused of being a witch, she was a nanny. She was, taking care of these children who supposedly they think were possessed, that she casted some kind of spell on them. But what if they were having a seizure and we just didn't know what it was back then?
Right.
That makes sense.
It was definitely mass hysteria, definitely.
Now, besides that old hospital you were talked about in the beginning, what's your other favorite location to investigate down there?
Probably the Hockamock Swamp. There's also the hospital is gone now in Hanson. They actually tore it down because they didn't want people sneaking in. There is another hospital, Lakeville Hospital, that I'll admit, because statute of limitations, we did sneak in there a couple of years ago. That's actually an awesome place to investigate. I don't suggest you sneak in there. I'm just saying it's definitely an awesome place to go.
Yeah, don't sneak into places you can't go to. Then you get in trouble.
And another place is right in the Bridgewater Triangle is the Josiah Keefe House. Now, actually, I read somewhere a long time ago that ghost hunters tried to get into this house and they were denied. But I was talking to a buddy of mine. He was living in New York, and I think we hooked up through this antique furniture page on Facebook. And when I started the Bridgewater Triangle group page, I was talking to him, and he was telling me about Easton, where this Josiah Keefe house is. And I said, oh, you live out in Massachusetts now? I guess he lived out here now for a full year. Didn't even know about it. And he invited us to go to his house to investigate, because the house was built in 1717. It's the oldest house in the town of Easton. It's the most hauntedest house in the Bridgewater Triangle. It was built by Josiah Keefe. Josiah Keefe III lived in the house. He was a captain in the militia during the Revolutionary War. He actually had to answer to the Lexington alarm. He was late. When he came back, he owed a lot of debt. He actually freed the last slave woman in Massachusetts who lived at that house. And the townspeople, they weren't happy about him freeing the slave woman. He had to sell off large chunks of his land, a lot of Wheaton's farm he had to sell off. He ended up shooting himself in the house, and people have claimed all kinds of paranormal activity. I know when Justin moved in, he's experienced doors opening and closing on their own. He hears footsteps. He brought a woman into the house, and the girl said she got her hair pulled. And we know that 17-year-old Abigail Williams actually lived there at that house. She died when she was 17. We think she's the prankster. There was also a 2-year-old girl that died in the house. And he was explaining about all the hauntings that go on in this house, and the chandelier burst at the time.
Oh, wow.
So we've actually investigated there twice, and we captured strange EVPs. The EMF meter goes off. We've heard walking around. The first time we were there, we didn't capture this. We were in the middle of debriefing, but a hat went flying off the couch. And we all looked at each other like, did you just see what I saw? So I quickly turned on the camera. The second time we were there, I did capture this. Justin heard a thump coming from the living room. And as I went to go check it out, something knocked the umbrella off the hutch. I got it on camera, and we don't know what it was. But we are in the middle of making a documentary. I'm actually co-producing it. It's called, it's actually a working title of Haunted New England. I think he's going to be naming it Cursed Echoes.
Oh, nice.
It's by Tyler Roberts, in total disclosure. But we were actually staying at the Josiah Keefe House actually during this documentary that's based on the Bridgewater Triangle. And I actually got a chance to stay in this house for about a half hour by myself. And, well, you'll have to check out the documentary to see what I captured.
Leave us hanging.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now is that going to be on your YouTube channel? You guys will be posting that one?
He's trying to get it on Tubi. It's actually going to be a 2-parter. The first part is based on Dudley Road and the Salem witch trials. The second part, he's going to be focusing on the Bridgewater Triangle.
Cool. You guys have a release date?
Yeah, and I know the first part is going to be released in October, I think around Halloween time. But again, I think he finally came up with the name, and it's going to be Cursed Echoes.
Cool. Yeah, after that comes out, would you like to maybe come back on and talk about your experiences with that?
Sure. Cool. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear about it. I did have a question I wanted to ask you, and this is something that Luke and I have talked about and have wondered if anybody else had dabbled with. Whenever you're doing your investigations, do you take into consideration the environmental changes? Like, do you think that maybe if it's raining outside, or if it's colder, or if things like that, does that change the amount of activity that you get?
Definitely. I know in the winter time, there's more static electricity in the air, definitely during certain moon phases, but definitely in the winter time, it definitely increases the paranormal activity, especially with EVPs, because you ever notice when it's snowing out, it's really quiet?
Mm-hmm.
That's because it's trapping out all that background sound, all the snow. So you're able to hear more. And I've noticed in the winter we get far more paranormal activity than we do in the summer.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I've always wondered that. I never really got to put it into play, though. How do you, I mean, aside from like video and audio, like, is there any other way that you guys document your investigations?
I have everything written down. I actually printed out a large map of the Bridgewater Triangle where I've marked down all the hot spots. But yeah, I'm constantly researching. I constantly look online on these online threads of people's, experiences. And even if they sound far-fetched, I always keep it up here just in case something else comes up that, relates to that.
Yeah.
Having the connections and calming things between each hotspot that you mark on your thing.
Yes, I've noticed a lot of the hotspots in the triangle, actually every hotspot in the triangle, they all line up with each other. They all line up with every famous stone in the triangle. They all connect with these ley lines.
I've heard about the ley lines and how they help with like paranormal activity and boost energy and stuff like that.
What is it about the ley lines? Do they just like increase electromagnetic energy, or?
I'm not really sure, but I know out here in Southeast Massachusetts, there's a lot of quartz crystal properties, and quartz crystals are a perfect conductor for anything paranormal.
Right. Yeah. I keep some crystals on me. I usually keep this one. This one is moldavite.
Have anything else you'd like to share?
That's it. You can check out our documentary that we made back in 2022. It's called Inside the Bridgewater Triangle. Now, I know there was a 2013 documentary about the Bridgewater Triangle, but that was just it. It was focused on, this is the Bridgewater Triangle. This is what happens. Love it, I hate it. A lot of people were disappointed. A lot of people loved it. Our documentary focuses on what really happens inside the Bridgewater Triangle and also talks about newer hotspots.
Oh, nice.
Where can that be found?
The Bridgewater Triangle Paranormal Investigators on YouTube.
I'll have to watch that.
Yep.
If you could afterwards, can you send me the link to that so we can watch it?
And we also have a huge Facebook group page called the Bridgewater Triangle. Love to hear everyone's discussion and paranormal experiences on the page.
Yeah, well, I think I followed that actually.
You'll have to send me the link, Luke, as I don't think I'm on that one.
Yeah, well, but he did have one question that he wanted to ask.
Oh, God.
Now, the energy in the Bridgewater Triangle, does it feel different than any other, like, spots in Massachusetts? Does it, like, have a high EMF or, like, anything like that? Well, you said about the towers, but other than that.
It definitely has a high EMF with the high transmission lines, but I don't personally feel that the energy is any different. I know a lot of people say, you know, they feel it. I personally don't, but like I said, a lot of the stuff happened in the 1970s. A lot of it is fading out, and I've noticed that they're building in the Hockamock Swamp. They're building homes. You know, a lot of residential areas are coming through. And I believe that, you know, with families now moving in, all that good energy is kind of sandwiching over the negative energy that was once imbued in the land.
That makes sense. Now, do you protect yourself in any way, like, after you, like, go on investigation? Do you, like, sage or anything like that?
No, I think that's all Hollywood, really. A lot of that is Hollywood. I don't believe that an entity can, me personally, I don't believe that an entity can follow you home, attach to you. I don't believe that, you know, that you have to perform an exorcist. Hauntings are to me, very quick. They're blunt. They appear as fast as they disappear. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how sage or lighting candles will get rid of anything, because personally, I like the smell of sage. So if I was dead, how is that going to chase me away?
Right.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Stop.
How do you feel about psychics and mediums?
I do believe that these psychics have a gift. Like, I have a lot of I used to have a lot of premonitions, tons of them back in they actually stopped somewhere around, I want to say, 2015, 2016. But I used to get premonitions. I don't go around saying I'm psychic, though, because of it. But I believe that these psychics, they have a gift, and they use their premonitions and their knowledge for, to make money, pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. I'd like to say that there's something. I feel like everybody has the gift. Go ahead.
Yes, everyone I heard does have the capability of having the gift. I know me personally, I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So it said that we use a stronger part of our brain, the frontal lobe. We use that more, and I think that opened up something to allow this gift for these premonitions. But again, I wouldn't open up a shop and say I'm psychic like these people do.
Right.
A lot of people that go to see psychics are depressed. They want answers. I feel that these psychics are more so they act as therapists.
Yeah.
They sit down, they talk to you. A lot of it is guessing.
Yeah. Well, can I make a guess? So lately, I've made some predictions lately that have come to fruition, and I have had this name, this person, I guess you guys, an energy that pops up in my head for the last few days. And every time they pop up in my head, I want to go, "Hey, Frank, do you know anybody named Frank?"
Yes.
Oh, you do?
My Uncle Frank actually passed away quite some time ago.
Oh my God.
Maybe back in 2007.
He wasn't a golfer by chance, was he?
No, I don't think so. I know a lot of people in the family love golf. They watch golf. He could have been, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if that's what it is, then that's interesting. Because, like I said, the last few days, this energy just comes through every now and again, and I just want to. I've been wanting to call him Frank. Every time I see him, I want to go, "Hey, Frank." And it happened right before we got on the podcast. His daughter walked in the room, and I was like, "Hey, Frank." But Luke, did you have any other questions or anything?
No.
Thanks for coming on, Harry. We really appreciate you taking the time out for this.
Yep.
All right. You have a good night, man.
All right, you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
That Thunderbird story. Could you imagine seeing a Thunderbird?
No. He said that it was what the size of a ranch house, right?
Yeah.
Like the width
And
of it or
the
something.
wings. Yeah, the width of it was the size of a ranch house. And the wings were the size of a 77 Cadillac.
It
That's
just
big
come
as
by and
fuck.
pluck you off of the ground and just bye.
Yeah, you don't have a child.
No, that's it.
That would be a cool place to go try investigate is the Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. Man, they have a lot going on over there. Like, what would be the thing that you would hope to witness, if anything, out of all the things? What would be the thing that you would hope to witness if you gone over there?
See, that's hard. I would like to witness a UFO, but like, I would also really like to witness like a Thunderbird.
I think that would be. I don't know, man. I don't think I want to witness a Thunderbird because I would feel like my life was in danger. I might get taken away.
That's why they're down here in the bushes. That's why you went and hide in the bushes.
Yeah. We ready for some podcast mentions?
We are. Are you doing them or you want me to do?
I think you do them. I don't know.
Okay, I'll do.
I think you should do them.
Okay. Don't forget to go check out our website, exploringtheunknownpod.com. You can find all our episodes there. There's also a contact section. If you have an encounter, share it with us, and there's a chance to be on in a future episode. And also on our website, we have a Cash App and PayPal that helps support the show. And if you have any would you rather questions you'd like to share, please do. And an affiliate link. There's also a link down in the description below that helps support the podcast. It's a ghost hunting equipment website. And if you buy anything through there, it helps support the show. And PA Bigfoot Camping Adventure, September 6th and 7th at Farmington, PA. That's coming up quicker than we think.
Yeah, I know. It's right around the corner. Less than, 2 weeks?
2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can buy tickets at the door with cash if you would like to come see us. And that is in Farmington, PA. And also, go check out our YouTube, subscribe, share, and like it. And that's everything with the podcast mentions.
Yay! I'm very excited for this convention. I feel that it is going to be even busier than the last one.
Oh yeah, it's a 2-day event too, so we'll be seeing double the people that we see.
Yeah, that'll be cool. So
and this time we have will have advertisements and merch to sell.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it would be a lot better, and people might actually stop by and be like, "Hey, what's this all about?"
Right. Get
Because
you
the
a
last
t-shirt.
adventure, yeah, go get you a t-shirt. Last convention or thing we went to, we didn't have anything. We didn't have merch. We didn't have any like promotion things like, "Hey, this is us." So we just had a tent and a table. So it really wasn't an exciting thing to stop by.
No, it wasn't. It just looked like we were just there and hanging out. We were just
Yeah.
hanging out.
But we got a couple people to come on from that
Yeah,
convention, so that's a bonus.
absolutely. So, do you have a would you rather?
I do.
Okay.
Would you rather investigate the Bridgewater Triangle or the Alaskan Triangle?
I have to go with the Bridgewater Triangle. It's a little closer. Maybe Harry can show us around a little bit. He would be so kind. So, I mean, over in Alaska, I get to go see the Red Onion Saloon, which is definitely on the list. But I don't know what else is going on over there. I mean, I only know from what I've seen on the TV show. So, and not only that, but if I'm over in Massachusetts, I'm stopping at Salem. It's happening. And if I stop,
Yeah.
it's going to have to be a whole thing. We got to take the family. My mom's got to go too. Yeah.
A whole vacation.
A whole paranormal vacation. I'm down for that. Let's do it.
Yep. Let's go on a paranormal vacation. Stop at different locations on the week. Take a whole week. Stop at different locations.
Well, see,
There.
that's a thing. That's something that I thought that would be kind of cool to do in the future would be a paranormal road trip. Go see the Four Corners, stop off and see the Black Box, maybe take a trip as close as we can get to Area 51.
Yep.
That would be cool. I don't have any more to add to it.
Is that all?
I think that's it.
Till next time. Keep exploring the unknown.
Exploring the unknown.